Hello everyone and welcome to Spot. In this episode we're gonna have a look over another top tier Runeword, which is not ladder only, and it's also quite unpopular one, and it's gonna be an armor. The one in mind is called Bramble, and what I've got prepared here is a perfect base, and this is a superior Archon plate. As you can see, it requires level 63, 103 strength, and it's got 15% enhanced defense as well as durability. So the defense on this plate is quite high, and I'm gonna roll myself Bramble armor in it. So the runes required are Rao, Om, Sur, and F. So 2 out of these runes are quite expensive, and they are Om and Sur runes. And now let's go ahead and make this armor and talk a little bit about the options which it provides. So I'm putting the runes in order, and here is our Bramble Runeword. Now let's discuss the options. Starting up with the level 20 Thorns Aura when equipped. Now this is one of the 2 varying stats on this Runeword, and it can roll between level 15 and up to 21. So this particular one is quite high up there. Now the next option is gonna be 50% faster hit recovery. This is a pretty solid amount, and again it prevents your character from being stun locked. The next option is gonna be the 30% to poison skill damage. Now this is the second varying stat of this Runeword, and it can roll between 25 and up to 50%. So this particular one is quite low there. Now we've got another option in terms of 300 defense, which is quite a good amount, believe it or not, and as you can see the defense on the armor itself went up to 903. Now right after that we got increased maximum mana 5%, followed by regenerate mana 15% and 5 to maximum cold resist. There's also fire resist 30 and 100 poison resist with 13 life after each kill. There's also a level 13 Spirit of Barbs charges, which are 33. Now, what's interesting about this armor and why it happens to be not so popular? Let's discuss the options first. Starting up with the Thorns Aura. Now, this one in particular is pretty bad in terms of PvP. If you go out there for a PvM scenario and you're fighting monsters, then it's also quite limited, because for it to be effective you have to be frontline warrior, and you also have to be taking damage. So if you happen to have pretty high amounts of defense or chance to block on your character, this Thorns Aura is not gonna return the physical damage to the attackers, put it that way. And if you happen to play a ranged character or a caster, then this Thorns Aura is also completely useless, simply because you're not gonna get attacked as much, and that way you're not gonna return any physical damage. Now, the pretty solid option in terms of the faster hit recovery is always helpful on any one of your characters, prevents you from being stun locked, as I've already said. And now the solid amount of poison skill damage. There's only few characters which are benefiting superiorly from this Runeword, one of them being the everybody's favorite Poison Nova Necromancer, but then it comes another issue. If you happen to wear such an armor, you locking your armor slot and you prevent yourself from using Enigma, so you're not gonna be teleporting around the map if this armor is gonna be among your inventory, put it that way. So in terms of damage output it's pretty solid, but then it also lacks the faster movement speed from the Enigma and the 220 skills. So it's of course much cheaper than the Enigma armor, but chances that you're gonna see any Poison Nova Necromancer using it are gonna be very slim. Now, the other character which can also benefit from the Bramble Runeword is gonna be the Java Zone, and more specifically the poison variant of it, with the Plague and Poison Javelins getting superior damage boosts from this Runeword, and on such an Amazon this armor is actually a pretty solid choice. Now, who else can benefit from this armor piece? One of those characters is gonna be the Assassin, and there's 2 versions of it. One of them is gonna be the Whirlwind Assassin, which is also happen to be using Venom skill, And the other variant of the assassin is gonna be the bow assassin, which also happens to use the venom skill in our arsenal. So these two types of characters can also benefit dramatically from such armor. Now the last character which can also take advantage of Bramble Runeword is gonna be the druid, and more specifically the rabbit druid. Now this character is relying on poison damage extremely, and this piece of armor is gonna grant him much of a damage output, and that's why he's probably among the best options for a rabbit druid if you happen to play such character. But of course those characters are not that spread among the community, and again it's quite rare to actually see somebody utilizing such an armor piece. Of course, you can put it on every character if you happen to wish so, but the benefits from using this Runeword are not gonna be that high. Another thing which it can be useful for, if you happen to make it in an ethereal base, you can actually put it on your mercenary, and believe it or not, this is a pretty solid option in terms of armor for a mercenary. The Thorn's aura then is gonna be always effective on your mercenary, then it also gets a lot of faster hit recovery, and if it happens to be ethereal, the amount of defense that it's gonna provide is gonna be astronomical. Of course, if you make it in a pretty good base, that is. And there's also 13 to life after each kill with super solid poison resist 100, and there's also 5 to maximum cold resist. So if you happen to put such an armor on your mercenary, this is actually a pretty solid choice, and it also helps with the damage output and the survivability. Now another good thing is, if you're using the Act 5 mercenary and it also happens to wear a greave, this greave can cast venom, and this venom can also be benefiting from the poison skill damage, so that's another story about mixing and matching items like this one. But then again, it's also quite expensive armor, no ladder only, as I've already said, and the chances are you're gonna see it are pretty slim because there's not much use of it. And in terms of armors, there's also much better alternatives out there in terms of other Runewords or different unique armors. So that's why this armor is not quite up there with the other elite Runewords in the game, and that's why it's being neglected so much within the community. And it also happened to be not that, I would say, not that valuable. Even if you happen to make one, the chances are you're gonna be losing on a value if you want to sell it compared to the runes invested in it. Of course, if you happen to roll a perfect example of this Bramble armor, then you can have a pretty good benefit on it, but then again you have to wait quite some time until you find a buyer for such a Runeword, because there aren't gonna be many people which are willing to use it. And this is gonna bring us to the end of this video, guys. I hope you liked it and it's been helpful for you. Hope you learned something new. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you later. Bye!